Will you survive, and what will be left of you? Well, from this game and seeing some of the kills on YouTube, not a lot would be left of you. You might be, like in the movie, an arm or a leg in a corner in a dirty wherever basement, because this is Texas Chain Massacre, the game, which is very beautiful to the movie from the bits I've seen. I haven't seen the whole movie, but it seems very loyal to it. Brought to you by the guys that did Friday the 13th game, which was also really cool, and unfortunately didn't last too long. But the game goes for $51.99, so there's kind of a steep price for this type of game. It's asymmetrical, sort of like hunt your friends down game. Tons of outfits, and some extra characters you can choose from. Yeah, so it's a third-person asymmetrical horror game based off the 1974 classic horror flick. So there's gore, but it's mostly like hacks and torso, which like you can sort of hear the sound of the person being cut, but like there's the splunges of blood, but I would say it's like Mortal Kombat 1 level. Like it's shocking. Back then it was very shocking. Now it's sort of like, we've seen a lot of games like that. It's not too shocking as it could be, I guess. And yeah, so it's just hacks of torsos, a few large droplets of spilled blood. So it doesn't get like Mortal Kombat 10 or 11 gory, where you see the bones crack, you see their teeth, shatter. Like, it's not that detailed. It's pretty tame, actually, after you've seen Mortal Kombat 10 or 11. The graphics are pretty impressive. I feel like that's where they really did an amazing job. The gardens are large, the rooms indoors look nicely decayed, characters resemble the time period. It really feels like the characters from that time period, 1970s or so. They got that like whole vibe going nicely. The gameplay loop can be fun. Definitely feels different than other asymmetrical games I've played in the genre. For example, Friday the 13th, it feels a little bit like that, but Friday the 13th was sort of darker. This is like daytime mostly, so it sort of shocks you if you suddenly get attacked out of nowhere, just like the movie, I guess. And then Evil Dead, it definitely feels a lot different than Evil Dead, and the gameplay loop is different too. So anyways, the game can be quite thrilling. It's a good substitute for other games that have been stopped, like aka again Friday the 13th, shut down. And the game forces someone on the village side to be Leatherface. No matter what, one person has to be Leatherface to be true to the movie. While the rest of the villains and victims seem kind of generic. And that's also one of my criticisms. Like, I think he's supposed to be like a hick, Hillbilly Hick. I'm not sure. I'm not as familiar, I have to be honest, with the characters, but he was kind of cool, and I managed to hack away at one person, so I actually got on the scoreboard a little bit. But one of my criticisms was there's a long wait time before each match. Like, it's pretty bad. Now, I was doing other stuff. I have my cell phone, so I wasn't too bothered by it. But, like, imagine trying to level up in this game like an RPG, because that's what it's set up like. And you're just waiting all the time. And, like, there's just too much waiting between the matches. I don't know why. Maybe it's for people to drop in. I saw a number of people drop out near the end of matches. I tried a few matches. So apparently there's a toxic community, there's a prevalence of cheaters. It really makes it hard to invest in this game. And again, we're back to the cost to get in this game. This game should really be $20 or $30. I'm not sure how large the base, audience base is for Texas Chain Massacre, but the movie's been around for and spawned like 10 movies or so of various quality. And yeah, so apparently the first one's still the most popular. But anyways, long story short, it feels like a niche game more than any other horror game that I've seen, except for maybe Puppet Master. I'm not sure the audience there, but I feel like paying the $50, that's a huge investment amount for this game. Then there's DLC as well, so I feel like that's a mistake to make the DLC overpriced and the base game overpriced for the audience that exists. So unless you're a patient fan for the series, the DLC, $10 a character, $10 for 2 different characters, then all these costumes, seems like a lot. Like it's even more for the hardcore. I guess that's the only way they could recoup their cost. But even the base game, $50 seems really high for the type of game this is, and arguably maybe this game won't be around in 2-3 years because that's how these type of games sort of disappear. They're really a short burst, not a long-term game like Smash Brothers, where and a wide audience. Like this is not going to be something your 5-year-old son or whatever is going to play, because obviously it's not for their age group. So anyways, the content still is kind of limited. Like most of its costumes, which are kind of expensive, like $5-10 each. But if you don't want those costumes, it's just 2 victims you can buy, and that's it. I guess there's a licensing issue somewhere that don't allow the other characters from the other movies, because as far as I know, all these characters are and costumes are from the first movie, so all the other movies, they haven't even touched it yet. There's 3 large maps in the game, so there isn't a lot of variety. They sort of feel like parts of the same map, I don't know, in a sense. So once you've played 2 or 3 of the maps, it starts to get kind of repetitive. Like it feels like you're playing the same match, so they sort of like gel all together. And if someone leaves the lobby before a match, then everyone gets booted from the server, which kind of sucks. Like instead of them just having an AI or something jump in, which would be great. I didn't think of it at the time, but AI would really help this game, even if it's a dumb AI, like some sort of AI so that the game can play offline. I'm not sure if it's possible, I don't remember, but that would really help this game last long term. But without being a fan of the movie, the game itself seems quite competent and true to the series from everything I've seen, just like the Friday the 13th game. And it's just a shame that the $50 is so high for people to become and invest part of that of the community. The map designs feel really small, yet the victims seem to be able to, what I saw, outrun the killers, even though there's locks and like electrical traps, and I think you can put down hunting traps and stuff. Somehow the victims, it's way too easy for the victims to win, and I'm not sure why that is, because I heard the opposite. I heard the villains and the killers would win most of the time, but in the games I played, it looked like the victims had a bet over, had the advantage. So, yeah, if they're more experienced players, it seems like the victims can beat them. But yeah, all 3 maps slightly different, but they still sort of feel the same. There's no offline mode. Oh, okay, so yeah, there's no offline mode, so when the license ends, so is your investment in this game. And like, especially if you're paying $50 for the base game, then another $30 to $40 for the DLC, like that's a lot to invest in a game that may die in a year or so. So I can sort of see why the numbers went from 17,000 people playing at a peak, and now it's down to what I heard 3,000, which is not good news, and this game might just go the way of the dodo in like 6 to 12 months, who knows. And that's usually what happens with these type of games, the asymmetrical games. Unfortunately, they last 6 months to 2 years, then the servers get removed, and then the game's unplayable, and it's like, well, you invested this money and now you can't play your own game. So I would say it's a solid entry. Honestly, with all this said, it's 8.5 out of 10, but just enjoy it while you can. That's the takeaway point. It's very loyal to the series from what I've seen. It just seems unlikely with 3,000 or less people playing. The servers will be running for much longer, so run away from Leatherface while you can, because maybe in a year or so he won't be there chasing you no more. So keep on gaming and watch out for Leatherface. Bye.